Hi there, KOIN 6 Chief Meteorologist Josh Cozart here with the latest information regarding the fires that are burning right now along the Columbia River Gorge. This has been something we've been keeping a close eye on pretty much all afternoon. Things still very hot, windy, and extremely dry across much of the Columbia River Gorge. And that's where the concern for these fires really kind of exploding over the past several hours still remains a big concern as we move our way through the rest of this evening. I'm going to go ahead and keep video that we got during our 6 o'clock newscast from the Klickitat County area in southwest Washington, just below us here. But I do want to point out those multiple fires that are burning in close proximity with one another. The Graham fire right now burning out towards the central sections of Oregon. That's where we are seeing those winds anywhere from the northwest to the northeast to directly out of the north, anywhere from about 15 to 20 miles per hour over the last little while. And our relative humidity value still remains, unfortunately, dangerously low across much of central Oregon. Although we are seeing some improvements as far as the relative humidity value goes through the Columbia River Gorge, what we are not seeing improve, unfortunately, is those gusty winds howling through the I-84 location. You got to keep in mind, these are the downsloping winds. So when we talk about downsloping winds for us here in the valley, those are the westerly, or I should say the easterly winds that we see. Right now, the winds are out of the west and creating downsloping conditions for our friends east of the mountains. As those winds descend into lower elevations, they warm up, they dry out, and they speed up. And that's why we're really seeing this kind of explosive fire activity with the Burdoin Mountain Fire burning now for several days. But brand new today, the Brewer Fire, now burning just a few clips away from where the Burdoin Mountain Fire has been sparking up. So definitely something that we are keeping an extremely close eye on. And earlier this afternoon during our 5 and 6 o'clock newscast, we were getting reports of another fire still in this same area, just miles away out towards the Goldendale area. That's where evacuations were put into place briefly. Now starting to see those taper back as it appears that fire crews are likely getting the upper hand on that blaze as well. But just really active fire conditions is still a possibility, not only right now, but through the rest of this evening. The good news is we are seeing the winds stay persistently in one direction. That helps the fire crews to kind of create a bit of a barrier. They're not going to be erratic. If anything, they are going to continue to be those westerly downsloping winds east of the Columbia River Gorge. So these are the wind gusts for the Mosier, Oregon area, kind of the hub of where all of these fires are currently burning. And we are expected to really kind of hold on to that potential through the rest of this evening as we only see those winds taper back into the teens at best. And then we start to see them ramp back up again as we work our way into tomorrow, gusting close to 30, 35 miles per hour. As hot, dry conditions still remain. So when you're adding in the high heat, these gusty conditions as well, that's really helping to dry out our atmosphere on top of what we are already picking up on. And that's just going to be elevating that fire potential. So right now, our fire weather danger, that remains at about, I would say, a low to moderate level. The dial's turning up close to about a 2 to 3 for us here. Watch, as we work our way into tomorrow, that's where they really start to ramp up, specifically along the I-84 location. Look at Pendleton, back up to about a level 5. That's moderate to high. That's higher than what we are currently experiencing right now through much of central and eastern Oregon and Washington. So something we are going to be keeping an extremely close eye on here over really kind of the next 24 to 48 hours as the lack of rainfall continues. The good news with all of this, though, is that we are expecting a bit of a cool down. Now, before we talk about that, I do want to bring in our reporter, Ariel Yakabazi, from our earlier newscast during the 6 o'clock hour. So, yes, things have changed, but I just want to give you a bit of perspective of what we have been seeing on the ground. So we'll take a look at her report right now.
Ariel Yakabazi joins us live from the Marina Lookout that's on the Oregon side of the river. I know you can see the Burdoin fire and that recent Brewer Road fire. What else can you see there, Ariel? Tell us the latest.
Well, Liz, Jeff, we're in between two wildfires right now. There are 3 burning right now. You can't see much behind me, but over that hill of those trees, that is where the Brewer Road fire is burning right now, which is still prompting those level 3 go now evacuation orders. But to the left here, you can see the smoke burning from the Burdoin Mountain Fire, which has burned thousands of acres so far. We're still working to learn more information about the containment efforts and the acreage burned so far for the Brewer Road fire. And then just east of us, near Goldendale. There is also, we've seen reports of another wildfire just about 30 miles that way, about 30 minutes rather, east. So we've got several wildfires burning in the area, and I can tell you it's really hot, it's dry, it's windy, and that's prompting several fires to burn. We're still working to learn the cause of these fires at this point in time. So we are at the scene right now in Rowena, where a fire burned just about a month ago, and we're working to learn more about the fires burning on the Washington side, and we'll bring you the very latest coming up tonight on KOIN 6 News at 11 o'clock. But for now, I'll send it back to you in studio.
And again, that was our own Ariel Yakabazi reporting there through the Columbia River Gorge. And you could really just kind of see how hot and dry that landscape is, conducive to just really seeing these wildfires run rampant, especially when they are being fanned by so many of these gusty conditions. The flames are able to just move erratically and unpredictable. And that's where the hot, dry, sunny conditions are still widespread. You can see it here across much of our area. That's where we are expected to still kind of pick up on a lot of those fire potential, with the exception of the coastline. That's where we are picking up on a bit of that marine layer. The cloud coverage, cooler temperatures slowly working its way back into the Pacific Northwest. But again, those fires still burning just east of our forecasting area, something that we are keeping an extremely close eye on. If you are now just joining us here for this special KOIN Now edition, I'm Chief Meteorologist Josh Cozart with an update on those fires currently burning along the Columbia River Gorge. Out towards Central Oregon, that's where the Cram Fire is still burning, and those winds out the north-northwest anywhere from 15 to 20 miles per hour. The Burdoin Mountain Fire, the Brewer Fire, and the Goldendale Fire just outside of that area now likely seeing some improvements with that. But overall, we are still seeing those gusty winds and low humidity values. Again, for the Mosier area, those winds, the good news, persistent out of the west, anywhere from 10 to 15 miles per hour as we work our way through the overnight time frame before they ramp back up close to about 30 to 35 miles per hour. Radar and satellite basically showing that we are staying on the dry side right now, as we could potentially pick up on maybe an isolated rumbler here and there for the south central regions of the Beaver State, more so a northernly California type of scenario. But lightning, that's going to be our biggest threat, especially moving our way into tomorrow for much of the southeast corner of our state. Abundant lightning is increasing the fire potential. That's why the National Weather Service has a fire weather warning in place, low humidity, abundant lightning, very little rainfall. So this is going to be extending from about 1 o'clock to 11 o'clock in the evening on Thursday for south central Oregon. So you can see just the hot, dry conditions across much of our area. That's expected to taper back into the low 60s as we push our way closer to the midnight hour. Now, I had mentioned there is some improvement on the horizon. That ridge of high pressure that's bringing us the high heat today starting to break down. A trough of cooler air diving its way further to the south. That will likely still keep the winds kind of gusty, but at least dropping our temperatures and helping the fire crews out, specifically along the Columbia River Gorge. Holding on to the marine layer for the coastline tonight into tomorrow morning, the I-5 corridor, nothing but sunshine and a nice onshore flow to help increase relative humidity values. But again, that's going to create those strong westerly winds funneling their way through the Columbia River Gorge, so that's why we're expecting to see those breezy conditions for the fires tomorrow. Then maybe a light drizzle for the coastline to start the day off on Friday, and then we start to increase the clouds slightly Friday during the midpoint of the day before more sunshine takes over once more. Tonight, 59 degrees. That's where we are expecting to fall to here across the Portland, Vancouver metro area. Tomorrow along the coast, low to mid-60s for us. Again, starting the day off with mostly cloudy skies, and then that sunshine starts to take over. The I-5 corridor cooling things back. Mid-80s for us. Plentiful sunshine. Still feeling like summer out towards the east. That's where we are anticipating those temperatures to push their way into the low to mid-90s, increasing the fire threat as it will also be gusty. And then also seeing the high heat out for the Dows. 92 degrees. Our 7-day forecast, we are expected to really kind of see these high temperatures still remain with us at least for one more day. Then we fall slightly below the average of about 83 upper 70s for Friday, Saturday, a few more clouds in the mix as well before the next warming trend arrives back up to the low 90s by Tuesday. And this really is expected to come as we kind of push our way towards the end of the month of July, likely ending on a dry note with no more additional rain accumulation. Fire threat still elevated. But the good news is no triple digits are at least in our long-range weather forecast, still subject to change because we got a little bit of a chunk of time left in the month of July, but something to just kind of be mindful of as we work our way through the next several weeks here as the fire season still remains, unfortunately, alive and well. That will do it for us here on KOIN Now, streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and of course, download the KOIN Plus app on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and Apple TV, where we will have the latest fire update and all of today's top headlines and sports news coming up on The 10 on Portland's CW and KOIN 6 News at 11 tonight. Stay safe.